Now introducing the Hollow Talk with Yusuf and Hey. I got my coffee and I got my water.
We have PTSD at this point.
I know, I would too. Like, you gotta make sure every single one's going, huh?
No, I mean, I thought I just started everything and now I came back and what happened? But nothing is wrong, thank God. Mr. Adam, Captain Chaos.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I would like to start this by showing my appreciation because, as you know by now, Hadi is our brother. So I understand what it takes to fully focus on preparing someone, especially in mixed martial arts, and the time and energy and focus it requires. So you taking care of him means a lot to us.
Yeah, it's really my honor. Hadi's a good dude, and he puts out the effort, and those are the guys I like to help who, they're giving it their all. So, and there's some, that's my realm right now, is helping fighters who, I can just help round out their skill set and stuff like that. And they happen to be, it's easier when they're my size. I like to work with people who are my size so I can get my hands on them and really kind of feel where we're at,
And it's good for Hadi as well. I mean, he's looking for someone his size as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can speak for that. Flyweights usually struggle in finding people their size. And I would say you guys might even be on the lower side.
Yeah, we're definitely smaller. I fought 15s a few times, right? And he said he's done it at least once. And there's not a lot of 25ers that can make that cut. So, yeah. I work with girls too. I've worked with a few girls, and I like that. They smell a lot better training than working with the guys.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. So tell me, how is Dubai treating you? How is the Prince life?
Oh, the Prince life is amazing. Let me tell you, Hadi's taking care of me very well. I'm gaining like 2-3 pounds each day, eating a bunch, and so we've gone to the Kite Beach, and I can't wait to see them all. He says maybe we'll jump out and do some snowboarding on the indoor the slopes, maybe after his fight or something like that. So yeah, Dubai has a lot to offer. I heard the MMA scene is growing fast, so I'm excited to hear about that. But I love it so far.
That's great because he told us, off camera, the only time he was in the UAE was in the bubble time, you remember, the days of COVID. So you didn't get a chance to see the country at all.
No, just stuck to the grounds. And like I said, when people ask me, where I've been, and I tell them I've been to Abu Dhabi and Bahrain, I know that's a different part, but I can't really say I've been there because it was just a hotel. I could be in any hotel in the world. So hopefully I get to, it's nice to get to experience.
How long are you staying post-fight?
Just a couple days. So Sunday, Monday, leave on Tuesday.
But you'll come back.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll be
pretty
back.
sure
I like it. I like it.
Sure. So now we're 1 week away from the fight. What's the confidence level? You've been with Hadi throughout the whole camp. How do you feel going into this fight?
We feel great. We are just fine-tuning a lot of the things that we've been preparing for specifically for this fight, and he's streamlining everything, putting everything together. A lot of the things that he mentioned that he needed help with, I think we've covered a lot of those bases, and we're looking good, ready to take this thing on, get this W. So, yeah.
We're in a very chaotic sport. Like, it takes something very special for anyone to start mixed martial arts, and Yusuf would agree with that. What made Adam start?
I've always been just a wily, competitive guy. I started, I played sports my entire life. That was like just my passion. And then I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a professional athlete. I thought at the time that it was going to be football or baseball because those were, I was super passionate. I was actually pretty good at both of them. But at a certain time in my life, I stopped growing, and I realized this isn't looking good, So fortunately, I wrestled. I switched from in high school. I went from playing soccer. You guys call it football?
Yeah. It's a huge fight, يعني. Football, soccer.
I was going to ask you.
I was playing. How would I say it? I was playing football.
Because
okay?
our football, we use the foot.
Yes,
we
yes,
just say it.
yes.
Anyways,
it makes sense.
Exactly.
I don't know why we took that from you guys, but so I was playing football, and then the team sucked, and we weren't going anywhere. And then I had uncles, and I was playing the other football, American football, and I was very aggressive, good at football, tackling. Hard. I was small, but I was good. So there was some pressure not pressure, but interest in bringing me over to the wrestling department, And then when the soccer team fell apart, I switched to wrestling. So junior and senior year, I started wrestling, and then I wrestled 2 years in junior college, and then soon after that, it kind of just fed into mixed martial arts. Funny story too. In my first year you probably won't know this, but my first year in junior college wrestling, BJ Penn was on my team.
Ah.
Yeah, he was there for about a half a semester trying to get some wrestling experience. I didn't know who he was at the time. He was just a big BJJ guy. And then he was trying to get wrestling for UFC, Then he signed his contract and bounced out.
Wait, nice. How does it work? So is it like a course within the college or you
you have to be going to school and taking a certain amount of units to qualify to be on the team. And of course you have to like pass your classes and stuff like that. So he must have been taking, at least some courses or enrolled at a certain level. I don't know, he's probably bullshitting, the courses or whatever. But he was just there to get some wrestling, and then and then.
That's a beautiful thing that we lack here in our
100%. You see, because I heard about this a lot, but with basketball players as well, when they're in college or
even NFL.
Yeah.
Like they get scholarships. They like if you have potential, they
get into great schools just because they're good at their craft, at certain things. Yeah.
To us, it's grades, purely grades. If you have good grades, they're gonna push the hell out of you.
Yeah, and now they get money, right? So you can get money. That was a long thing. They couldn't get any money. Now you can get money. So it's like those guys are living their best lives. You making money, getting rides, and
it's like you can compare it to amateur fighters making huge amounts of money.
Yeah. Bro, have you seen like these college football games? Have you seen the audience 60,000 strong? Especially like a state like Ohio State college football club. God damn.
Yeah, that's one
and
thing.
They have loyal fan bases as well.
Once you become a fan or you go to that school, you're an alum, you carry that with you for life. That's one thing I wish that I would have done a little differently, was go to a college that was like a college town college. I went to San Jose State, which is cool, but like it's they call it a commuter school, right? People are coming in and out. It's not really like that college experience. So. I missed out on that, but it's all good. Yeah.
It's a shame, although we don't have that system here.
I always wished for it, to be honest, because we grew up kind of more exposed to the Western side of life. Like we grew up with YouTube, we grew up with the growth of the internet. So
you grew up with cell phones?
No, we
How old are you?
29, 30. So we grew up in the middle. Like we lived without cell phones, but we lived with, we saw the beginning of cell phones. That makes sense.
You remember dial-up?
I feel,
So before
I remember the phones that went like this.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are too young for that.
Phones, like the first Nokia that popped off, I remember I was like 876 maybe. And we saw a bit, and even like when I compare our life to my nephew, for example, which he's 10 now, we used to be outdoors. Like we played in the streets. We had bicycles. We lived that rough, and you come back home with all like escapes. Now it's different. They're in like high technology. Like we saw when Nintendo became Nintendo. I was a kid. Like that was our only thing. Yani we didn't have a lot of options, let's say. And now they're distracted by a million options.
But also, I would add to that, like even in our lifetime, we saw the trajectory as technology advanced. We went from being outdoor kids to slide.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, we started spending most of our times on the computer, and at some point, like Yusuf and I, we had a 3-year relationship purely remotely. Like we used to speak maybe for 7 hours a day, but we never saw each other. We're just playing video games.
I never got into that world of gaming. I played Nintendo, you know, whoop, and then it was like, all right, going outside, you know, playing outside, try to beat up my neighbors and stuff like that.
So, yeah, like our backstory, like he said, I know him since school days, like since the 5th, 6th grade, we knew each other, but we weren't friends. Till if we even graduated from school, I had my group of friends, he had his group of friends.
Whose group of friends was the cool kids and who?
Listen, we were the naughty ones. We were the ones that the principal comes and say, no, these guys don't be their friend.
Okay, yeah.
He was as well, but he was mostly some of the times he was by himself.
To be honest, secluded. Like my history is a bit unique because I tried to fit in a lot of groups at the same time, and I did not have a real identity. So I was with the bad group, the good group, the healthy group. Like I was in many places with many different identities. You get me? So
you played sports when you were growing up, or no?
I did, but I was a fat ass.
Like Hadi.
Oh yeah,
like he showed me a picture.
Us,
He said he was a big boy, and I saw it.
This guy, I used to be the size of one thigh, one of his thighs.
Oh yeah, I was big.
I
was a big boy, but not always. Up and down, Habibi.
At some point, I used to reach his butt, and I was the size of his thigh. I swear to
you were
God.
one leg.
Exactly.
And I'm tall as well, so I was, Big Show.
Yeah.
They used to call me Big Show.
That's your nickname.
Yeah, he walks into the.
I had 2 nicknames: Big Show and King Kong.
When he walks in the hallway, like everything moves with him. Yeah, you can.
And I used to use that against. It's bad talking about it now, but I used to be a bully as well. Like I used it to my advantage. The size.
Yeah. Gotta use what you got, you know.
Exactly. But when I was younger, though, I used to compete taekwondo. My family, but I regret to this day that my family didn't force me to continue. Though that's one of the things I wish they made me continue because I was good. Like I competed in 3 tournaments. I reached the final 2 times. I got my ass whooped in the final, but at least I did it. But the last time, the thing is, see, this is one of the things that I talk about a lot with my sister, especially because she has a boy now, which is 10 years old. Now, in everything he does, I see myself in him. You know, especially when he's gaming, I can relate. So I tell them, listen, I understand him more than you guys. One of the things that's key in a youth lifestyle, let's say, is the group of friends he keeps. Like when I was training taekwondo, I didn't have the group of friends that I had after on. The people I surrounded myself with, which are still like very good friends, I love them all. But they made me change my life. I stopped doing sports. I stopped doing everything. I became the bad guy. But if I stayed grounded in taekwondo and martial arts, it would have been different.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky that I found my identity very, very early. You know, I was a kind of a troublemaker, and then I kind of like 2nd and 3rd grade, I fought a lot and stuff. Like in recess, we just fighting, getting in trouble and stuff like that. And then I kind of dodgeball was like the sport. 4th grade, 5th grade. And I was like, I could be good at this, And then I started doing it, and my mom put me in sports. So I was always in sports, so I was like, this is what I do, So then I just whoever helped me in my circle around to didn't take me out of that, then we were good. But yeah, I was just.
But tell me now, I want to know more about the Captain Chaos. How did that come by? Because
Captain Chaos. That's I like to have a good time. I like to party a little bit, to have a little bit of fun juice, and that's so I was at where the initiator from. I was at my buddy James Terry's fight. He was in Reno. I think it was a Bellator card, and I don't know if it was before the fight or after the fight. I think it was after the fight, but we were in the Reno. You can gamble there, and they have a casino. And man, I was just on one. I was drinking, we're yelling, throwing chips, partying, you know, gambling and stuff like that. And somehow it popped up, and I kind of just really took it on. They still were calling me that a little bit that night, and I kind of just rolled with it, and that became, you know,
It's nice.
part of my thing.
Adam, Captain Chaos Antolin.
A Captain Chaos.
I think we know what your future was.
Yeah, that
was a good one.
I just started.
I saw.
You saw?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. People have asked me for a while to partake in, you know, doing some stuff here and there, and finally some of my friends were like, "Hey, my dad's turning 70, and you know it'll be fun. We'll have you announce at the bar that he's at." So I got out there, you know, I got Bruce buffered up, and yeah, we did it. It was fun.
That was I actually missed that, but that take was amazing.
Yeah. What big show? Tell me your Yusuf Ali.
I still I don't have one.
No, your big show.
Do big show.
Yeah.
Show. Let's go.
And now fighting out of this corner, Yusuf, a big show. Ali.
Like Bruce Buffer almost. Nice.
Nah, you got it.
Yeah, so we started, you know, we've taken some steps now finally, and yeah, I think I'm gonna be able to play around with this in and out of sports. I could do, we're gonna do, you know, some weddings, some birthday parties, you know, whatever the people want, we're gonna give it to them.
You can use even a platform like what is this platform where Cameo.
Oh yeah,
Rampage used to do
I can
that
announce
stuff.
like just, you know, sending the video, right, or whatever, how it works. Yeah.
Pay you to say happy birthday. You know,
Yeah,
like
I'll give you
these
guys a cut. You send them to me, I'll give you guys a percentage, you know.
But going back to his question, how you started mixed martial arts, what was the point where, okay, no, this is serious. Like, this is my thing now.
Besides it also being serious, because I like what I mentioned specifically about this sport. It takes a special type of person to get punched in the face and come back to get punched again.
Right. So here's kind of like the real breakdown of how it worked out. I still work at the same place that I do when I started this. It was a great college job. It's called Campo de Bocce in Los Gatos. It's you know what bocce ball is? Bocce ball. It's like you got two colored balls, about 4 or 6 balls each. They're kind of heavy, and you have like a metal ball. You throw it out, and basically your team's trying to get closer than the other team. You can score points.
Oh yeah. Is it they play it on the beach? It's like
you can play it on different surfaces.
Yeah.
We have like kind of official like courts. There's 8 of them. It's you know, I still work there. I've been there for 18 years. So it was a great college job, and then it turned into a great fighting job. But before I started fighting, there was this kid, and he was, you know, I had a wrestling background, and we were just talking shit back and forth, and he was taking this sparring class at the junior college that I went to, and he was like, "Man, you should come on. I'll beat you up," you know. And I was like, "There's no way you can beat me up." Like, so we did that for about a month, right? And finally, I was like, "Okay, this is like I'm familiar with his name was Brian Kuhn. He read in the class, and so I went over there, and you know, I did my thing, and I was these poor people would come in, they're weekend warriors. And I'm taking it all serious. I'm wrestling them. I'm putting it on them. You know, like I probably shouldn't be going that hard, but it turned into you guys know Kung Lee. Yeah. So Kung Lee was a local guy putting on kickboxing shows, and he had a relationship with Brian Kuhn, the guy who was running it. And Brian said, "Hey, there's a last minute. We need a last minute replacement for a kickboxing fight, right?" And so we did Sancho rules. You know Sancho? Sancho is like, I think it's Chinese kickboxing. So it's kickboxing with takedowns. Okay. This was Kung Lee's specialty, right? And there was different rule sets on that card.
But that's like ground and pound?
No ground and pound. Okay. You take down, you get points, you stand back up. Kickboxing with takedowns. Okay. That's it. If you cannot shoot though. If your knee touches the ground first, then the other guy gets the points. So it's more throws, it's blasts, it's single leg, stuff like that. So I did this show, and we actually didn't tell you this story. We weigh in, right? And I'm like, they ask you, do you want to wear headgear or not? And I'm like, I'm macho. I don't need no headgear, you know? Okay, so we're not doing headgear, okay? And then so I show up at the event, and then I'm watching these fights go, and I'm watching these guys just throw heavy bombs, and I'm like, God damn it, like I probably should have picked headgear, you know? And then I was in the red corner. My opponent was in the blue corner. right? And then I'm warming up, and the coach from his camp comes over and says, hey, our guy really has a thing about coming out of the red corner. Would you mind switching just for the walkout, right? You can come over here, I'll come over here, we'll walk out. And I said, yes, but I want to. I changed my mind. I want to wear headgear, you know. So okay, we'll do that deal. He comes out of my corner, I come out of his corner, but we put headgear on. We put headgear on. I take him down a bunch of times. I'm winning the rounds based on my wrestling and just wild, heavy hands and stuff like that. The last maybe 30 seconds of the fight, I don't know how to block kicks yet. You know, I haven't done the techniques and stuff like that. He throws his head kick, and it hits me in the head, and it knocks me out. I fall. I bounce into the ropes, and I come back out as I'm coming off the rope, right? And then so I get a standing 8 count. 1, whatever. And then at that point, there's probably about 10 seconds left. And then one more kind of flurry, and then that's it. But I won the fight, but I realized, like, I don't know shit, you know? So then I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I need to get a little more serious. So that's when I signed up at Kung Lee's. And so I learned how to do stand-up. And then they had a grappling program. And so that was my foundation. Some really actually high-level guys, Garth and what's his name? He trains with Marcelo now. Paul Schreiner. Paul Schreiner, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's a high-level guy now. He was back then. But, yeah, that's how it started. That's how all right, I got serious, and then I was going to Kung Lee's, multiple times per week, learning kickboxing and stuff, and learning how to, I had out of the gym, I was probably the smallest guy who had a wrestling foundation. So that was always my default, and it saved me a lot of times, and so I used it. And that's how it started.
How come the head kick did not deter you from the sport?
That's that guy, I think so. Like, that's one of those, like, okay, the world had 2 paths, right? And had the guy not come over and ask me to switch corners, I never put on headgear, right? And if I don't put on headgear, that kick really does knock me out. And maybe I'm like, you know what, this may be just too much for me. So, and I don't know, we'll never know, but that was like how that played out. And it was, since I won the fight, I was like, okay, I can do this. It's tough, but I can do this.
And you got excited. You wanted to learn. You wanted to improve and to.
And I hadn't been in sports. I think it was about a year and a half. I was just working, right? And so, like, living your whole life doing sports, sometimes you need to take a little break. But I realized, like, man, like, this is my structure. This is my foundation. Like, I need to be in sports. And so that was my path, because I was smaller. There was not a lot of 25 was not a thing yet. 15 definitely was not a thing yet. So I fought a few fights at 30s first. I fought 3 kickboxing fights. I won those. They didn't have amateur MMA at the time. So I spent like a year and a half, 2 years learning that. Won those fights, and then I turned pro in 2008.
And that makes sense, because like he said, in other sports it's tough for a guy his size to find his place. But in fighting, you found out that, no, it's possible.
Yes, as long as, if we're in the same realm of weight class, there's a chance to have some competition here.
Man, I want to ask you now, you mentioned a very crucial point, which is back then we did not have an amateur scene and weight classes, and you've been in this game for a very long time as a fighter and now coaching, and so you've seen the evolution of it, whether it's organizational on an organizational level, or even in the process to get to a professional level. Like, what do you see in terms of difference? Of course, it's easier now. There are many ways to get into the sport.
Yes. Easier to get into.
And also highlight how tough it was back then.
So we did a lot of what's called smokers, right? Smokers in the U.S., at least, they were just non-sanctioned. Okay, this gym's going to put on a smoker. You show up that day and we match you up. Okay, it's just to get experience, right? So I did probably 10 of those. So we didn't have amateur MMA, but we had smokers, right? Eventually that kind of got like outlawed because people were probably getting hurt and stuff like that.
Any special rules for those smokers?
No, you would wear actually like big 16-ounce gloves, your headgear, your shin guards, and then it was either in a ring or a cage, and then, it was the feeling. It's like, like, okay. And people would show up, you know, everybody had their camps and stuff like that. And the thing was like, you didn't know who you were going to fight that day, right?
Just like a BJJ competition.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you'd fight, you know. If sometimes there wasn't somebody your size, they were actually pretty good about, okay, this guy's bigger than you. The person's like, okay, just so you guys know, this is for experience, right? They would curtail the bigger, stronger, better guy to make sure he wasn't, you know, doing too much, just so we can keep these things going and get experience. But like there's a lot of gyms now. I think it's more structured. There's more structured pathways to get into the sport. And you know, at the time we didn't know 25s was going to be a thing. I'd like to see 15s come along, you know, if it could. I understand in the US it's not a big draw, so why are they going to do it? But like if 15s was a thing, I'm Khabib. I'm Connor. You know, I got mansions and stuff, you know, I think. But, you know, I competed at 25s as best as I could. I'm undefeated at 15, just that, you know.
What's the root of that? By the way, like the difference between 25 and 35 is 10 freaking pounds.
Yeah.
And the appeal between 125 and
I know.
135 is like night and day.
I know. I don't know. It's a mindset thing. I think people like to look at this guy. Okay, this guy could probably hurt me. Like, not me, right? But somebody close to their size. If you're looking at a 35er, he's walking around maybe close to 160. Okay, this guy's my size. Like, I'm interested. I don't respect this guy I don't want to watch somebody who's smaller than me. Like, I think that's my take on it. I don't know, but
the problem is on TV they're all the same size.
Yeah.
Like the weight class or the size of a fighter depends on the matchup itself. Unless you have a very big mismatch where you have a 6'4" lightweight like Jalen Turner fighting 5'10s, then you see, oh, this guy is bigger than the other guy.
Yeah.
But two flyweights fighting and they're the same height.
Yeah,
you can see them as if they're like middleweights.
They're just getting bigger. Like there's no way I can compete at 25. Like there's just so much. They're so big now, you know.
It's the science of weight cutting is getting more advanced. It's
crazy.
Advanced, people like literally reach the door of death just to make a fight now.
Oh yeah. Which I always say to Ahmadi, man, I wish they make a rule. You can't weight cut. You fight at your weight.
Well, one has tried that, right? They're trying to make, but
the hydration
thing. But it's still they weight cut. What I heard is they weight cut. They
found
drink they weight cut, hold the water in their, like, come down, hold it, do the hydration test. You're at the weight, and you pass. You know. So it's not really fixing it. It's just they have to work around a different way.
Exactly.
You know, the thing is, it's always going to be like that. How can you tell me a system where you aren't going to let them cut weight, you know?
Same day weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Like they do in BJJ.
They're still going to cut weight to a certain level, right? But
to your detriment. Like if you do that, you're going to lose. You cannot go into a fight dehydrated.
You're right.
So therefore you have incentive to not cut weight.
Right.
That's the point. Like if you do same day.
And guys are always going to walk that line though, you know?
But do you think it would be, and you would cancel out, because I mean, let's face it, one of the worst things about fighting is that process. Like the weight cutting is harder than the fight, man.
Yes. There's two fights, right? Exactly. That's what they say, right? You guys know this.
Imagine if you eliminate that. Everybody has a system. This is the system that you would, like he said, they take the weight on the same day. I think it would, like, fighting would be more like, how do I say it,
fair.
Yeah, fair, and you will eliminate most of the
you would eliminate a large percentage of some of it, and some people would still cut that weight, and they would probably show it would backfire, you know. And then it's like, okay, you know,
because what maybe most won't understand as the casual fans, like, if you're dehydrated, it's not just you can get easily knocked out. Your body's gonna start spasming. Like the easiest thing to me is the calves. Like if I'm dehydrated, my calves,
Calves start cramping,
my footwork is gone.
Yeah.
Because I'm one cramp away from tearing a
Yes.
muscle or doing something
Yeah.
stupid. You get me? So going into a fight dehydrated is just gonna ruin my life. And to be honest, it's gonna eliminate weight bullies. There's a very big trend in weight bullies where people cut. I will also say I think it's mainly coming from the Russian system, and it stems down to the Olympics. They had freedom in experimenting a lot of things, and they brought that to many places, and nobody does it like them.
Yeah.
The masters of this.
Yeah.
Some people cut 15 kgs.
Yeah, I'm always like my best reference is Tagir, right? Because Tagir walks in the gym, and I'm just like, oh my God, I don't belong here with this guy. He's so big, and he makes 25s. Like, how do you make 25s? It's so crazy, you know?
But they make it work.
Yeah, and good on them. Like, I don't think you said Clay called it a weight bully. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can, hold it against them if you have a system scientifically based, right? Yeah. It's like, if you can do it and you're successful, why wouldn't you be able to do it?
Of course, yeah.
No, the issue is that just like you said, there's no issue with doing it. But once they put a system where you can't, the game changes.
Right.
As long as they can, good. Do you?
Yeah.
Why not? Because you're gonna fall behind if you don't. If you don't do it, the other guy will do it.
Yeah.
But when there is a system, okay, now all bets are gone. Now you have a system to follow.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, who's gonna create that system? What promotion's gonna do it?
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, right.
Because
it's just like, it's one of those things.
The UFC have to do it. If the UFC do
right,
it, that's
then it'll filter down to everybody else.
Yeah.
But it's like, maybe there's gonna have to be maybe a small promotion that really cares about this, that implements it and that shows it's successful before, So it's on the people who care about it to do it, right? If you don't do anything about it, if all you do is complain on the sidelines, why is it gonna change?
And one thing to talk about as well, when you watch like flyweights or those very, very like lightweights, let's say, I don't understand why some people they don't enjoy these fights. Or small guys, like I'm 6'3", I'm middleweight, borderline light heavyweight. But when I see flyweights, I enjoy. Like, they're fast. You can see the speed and the punches, the kicks. I enjoy actually watching them fight more than middleweights.
I think maybe I don't know why that is, or but I think that maybe slowly it's starting to change a little bit. I think the flyweight category, at least in the UFC, it's starting to thrive a little bit, right?
At some point, you remember they were gonna
cut it. Yeah.
When Cejudo was champ, I think, or when DJ
Cejudo was champ, and that's when TJ came down from bantamweight to
that's true,
flyweight, and if TJ had won, I think they were gonna get rid of it.
That's right after when Demetrius left, I think.
Yes,
Demetrius Johnson.
Yes,
and
I think I don't know, but I think DJ being so dominant was part of the problem. It's like, we need to get some cycling through so we can make some different matchups and stuff like that. This guy's just beating everybody. What can we do with this division? So him being so good.
I hate how sometimes people leave him out of the conversation of the greatest.
Of course. Before we jump into the conversation of the greatest, I remember where it was like, I think the flyweight is going down. It's when everyone was hyping up Rayborg to be this next thing that's going to dethrone Demetrius, and he did that.
Yeah, the
flying
lift
armbar.
That was sick. I was there. I don't know who I cornered. Maybe Matt Schnell or Dustin Ortiz. I can't remember, but I was there at that. I saw that live. I was like, oh shit.
That guy, nobody's beating that guy. And then Henry Cejudo did what he did. And I mean, even that was a split decision.
It was close, huh?
It was I thought Demetrius won.
I thought initially, I think I was biased, right? Because I was tough on Cejudo's team, and I was like, I think he won.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I watched it again.
It was a very close fight.
Close fight.
It was a close
I
fight.
think, I don't know.
Now, talking about that, actually, tough. One of the things that every time we used to watch the show, The Ultimate Fighter, the first thing we think about is how do these fighters manage to stay in a house, like in that environment, and not going crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some situations where they do go crazy.
Right, right.
But in general, like, tell me your experience there, being in a house with all these killers, everyone wants to win.
Right.
Not just killers, and the UFC they're nasty.
Oh, yeah.
What they do is they put them in a house filled with booze and they're
Yes.
like, and filled with cameras, and they're
Yes.
like, hey, there is no phones, there's nothing. You can drink yourself to sleep and fight all day long.
I'll tell you this story. So before I got on that one, I tried out for the 135. The tryouts was in New Jersey. And I think they might have split. You know when they split the weight classes for the show?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they split it. I can't remember. I tried out. I submitted my guy. So what they do is they kind of group you up. And you guys probably know this. They did a grappling thing. I submitted my guy. Then they did kind of a striking evaluation. They were like, okay, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's got fundamentals, right? And then they they tell you who's moving on to the interviews for the production interviews and stuff like that. And so I was one of the guys, and I came in, and then we're all in a line for the interviews, and they come out and they say, and I don't know if this has changed or whatever, but this particular instance, he was like, you guys are here to fight, drink, and whatever, like, And
Straightforward.
I was like, oh shit, okay, this is what they want to see. Yeah. So I came there with my boy. I called him. I was like, hey, get me a beer and 2 shots. Go to the bar right now. So I'm in line, and he brings me 2 shots. I take 2 shots, and then I walk into the interview with my beer. They go, well, what do you got for us? And I got this. Put my Corona on the table, and I got my information packet, and I got this. And so we chit chat and stuff and whatever. They like me, but they think I'm too small, which, in all fairness, I am. And they say, come back when we do a 125 show. I was like, well, when's that going to be? They're like, well, we don't know, but, maybe eventually just come back. Right. And so fast forward, it all worked out and stuff. Back to the original question was, what was it like?
The environment, being in that house.
So I think that our particular cast or group of people, I think it's different from other groups where you have traditionally you have more of a prospect type of group of people. A lot of them are undefeated, right? So there's a lot of ego going around. A lot of shit talking leads to this and that, and as people fall out, people start drinking and whatever. That's it's good TV. It's all good, whatever. Our group, because we're all champions, right? We were there to somebody's gonna fight Demetrius. You all eight guys from the United States, champions. 8 guys international, champions. You kind of know what it takes to get to that point at that level. So you have a respect for people in the house. It's like, I know what it took me. It's all got to be very similar. So there wasn't as much ego going around and then at that point we're all in the game for a while, so maybe we're a little more mature in the sport. So there wasn't too much drama. There was a little bit, you got 16 guys in a house, there's gonna be a little bit. There was a little bit, a couple flare-ups, but no punches were thrown.
I think the toughest thing about tough is having to fight if you win like a week later or 2 weeks later. That nothing can prepare you for that, because this is not BJJ.
Right, yeah.
And it's not like they have any specific rules like no elbows or no.
Yeah,
You go full on. You have 2 rounds, maybe 3.
Right.
Mess each other up.
So the second fight, when I lost to Hiromasa, he landed a couple shots in the first round in the back of my head. And it was the next day when I was trying to get up from sleeping. I leaned up and I'm spinning. I'm dizzy, and I'm
concussion.
Like, yeah, I got it. And I didn't know it that night, but I knew it the next day. And then it goes to down to okay, let's say, there's a third round or some way I pull out the fight, right? And to this day, I'm like, I understand the format. It's 2 rounds if the person wins, but I'm like, I'm like, that's the format. It is what it is. But I still want my third round, you know. In a real fight, like give me my third round. This is my style, is to gradually increase the pressure, the pace, you know. And even if he won those couple rounds, I know he's tired, and I know I can push through that, you know. So whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, if I have this concussion and I happen to win, it's like, what do I do? You know, do I try to push through that and risk, you know, some significant brain injury, or do I step back?
And this is a big opportunity
yeah,
as well.
Exactly.
Keep that in mind, yeah.
So it's a scenario I don't have to worry about, but I think about that sometimes, like what would I have done? You know, and that's just what you say. Like nobody can prepare you for what you're about to experience. Like you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna maybe get cut, you're gonna have a concussion. Like what are you gonna do in those moments? You know. So
I have a question now. So you mentioned something that is interesting to me, especially now that you coach. You said like my style is I gradually start doing it. So now you're in a position where you have to coach a fighter that is usually, let's take a scenario of Conor McGregor versus Donald Cerrone. Even though Donald Cerrone was brought in to be a sacrificial goat, but but the narrative going into the fight, what everyone was saying, I don't think this is going to be, it's not going to last long because Donald Cerrone is a slow fighter. Yeah. He takes his time establishing presence, and then he starts getting off.
Yes,
he starts landing combos. So how do you change that in a fighter? Because in my opinion, a fighter needs to be like water. Just like Bruce Lee said it. If someone really has the true fundamentals of what it takes to be a fighter, to me, it's not just having the ability to just follow a specific game plan. It's having the ability to adjust to whatever environment you're in.
Right.
So how do you approach that in a fighter that is a slow starter in a situation where he has 2 rounds?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that I have the answer to that, because I myself am a slow starter. And it has bitten me in the past, you know. If I can get past that first minute or you know, minute and a half or whatever it is, it's on, you know. And sometimes I have to get hit just like Donald to get going. But I've started slow in the past, and my opponent started fast. That's their style, and it cost me. So I think you just really have to work that into your sparring sessions. Like you have to be very adamant about, you got to go out and really, like, you got to be first. But it's not something I've mastered.
He grills me too on that, because when we do like our sparring, I'm that way too.
Yeah.
Like first 2 rounds, I'm just there. And sometimes in my head, it's like, okay, let him work. Let him work. I don't get tired, and then I start applying. But it's wrong.
To me, like sometimes he can put himself in, because I always tell him, like, you should imagine yourself being in a fight. If there was a referee seeing you doing this, he's not going to think, oh, I'm letting him work. No, he's going to stop the fight.
Judges. If it's not a decision.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. It's something I've
struggled with.
And I've tried to get better at it, but there's something about my style. I don't know what it is. Like I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a dumb mistake first.
Very fast.
Right. Yeah. And I know my style. I know that if I can stay fundamentally with good defense, and I can kind of weather that storm a little bit, and I can really get into the fight, I'm gonna be able to push and just outlast, out hustle, out slick, out maneuver, you know, or at least I feel that way, right? If I can get past that initial threshold of being a slow starter, even if I'm losing, there's never a point in the fight where I think I'm not gonna win. I'm like, I'm gonna find something. If I'm down a couple, I'm gonna find something in this last 5 minutes. I'm gonna win until you just run out of time, you know. But I never think I'm not gonna win. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just something you have to. I wish I was a fast starter. There's no reason I can't be.
From what I understand from you, it's the anxiety of making an early mistake.
Yes, for me, I think so. Yeah, you know, because you have to understand. I don't want to give my stuff away, but I've never had great power in my hands. So if I get into something early on with somebody who does, now I'm fighting their fight, you know. Yeah. So if I can make them use some of their energy, make them miss a little bit, maybe make them wrestle, now the fight's starting to play in my favor a little bit. But getting into a mix early on is just not, percentage wise for me, is not in my favor.
Do you have a worry of getting tired fast? Because sometimes that's what my mental is like. I don't want to get gassed very early.
Yeah, no, because I'm not a black belt in striking. I'm not a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm not a black belt in wrestling. I would say I'm close to a black belt in like transitions and stuff like that. Maybe some cage stuff I'm pretty slick at. But what I am a black belt or traditionally is cardio. Okay. Right? So that's my fallback plan. Yeah. So if I can just get to where I start to push and make this person work a little bit, you know, then I'm going to be okay. And if I had to push early, if I can find a way to push early, I'm not concerned about cardio. The gas tank's there. Yeah. I think, again, I don't want to give it away, but I've noticed, maybe, I don't know if because I don't train as much, but I think past a certain age, your VO2 max goes down a little bit. So maybe it's starting to wane just a little bit, but I still put it on people. Don't get twisted, right?
Hands are registered.
When did you find the AKA?
So Kong Lee had a relationship with Hadi and AKA, and they cross-trained. And so they had an agreement, anybody from Kong's could go cross-train at AKA. Nice. And so that's how I got brought into AKA. And then over time, Kong's kind of dissolved, and then I just made the full transition to AKA.
And you were there like when AKA like Kane.
I was there when there was no champions, you know, like no UFC champions. I think
Strike Force. DC wasn't Strike Force champion. Kane was also the heavyweight champion, or wasn't he?
I can't remember, but I saw those guys grow from, you know, contenders to champions, and it was amazing. And it, you know, there was not a better room in the world, I don't think, at that time. Guys just pushing themselves, everybody contributing to, you know, moves and stuff like that. I think that's what made, and not to say that there's not other gyms that do this, but like every fighter had a style, and every fighter was able to put in input. If this happens, you could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this. This is how you do this. So everybody was just contributing every day and helping each other grow, get better. And yeah, it was just amazing. Like every day, I came out and I was like, dang, like I learned so much today. You know, like.
I mean, if you think about it, like imagine being in a room where you have DC as a champion, Cain Velasquez as a champion, Luke Rockhold as a champion. You have the striking here, the pressure there, the wrestling, and because I told you off camera, like like years and years, I was watching on YouTube the channel I'm the Bay. So I used to watch like the vlogs in the gym back when Habib was barely speaking Arab, English. And
when Hadi met Sally, I don't know this movie.
Like those videos, like even more Al-Aqra, like I discovered them from YouTube when he was an amateur. Like when I don't know what his name is, the guy that's behind I'm the Bay.
I am the Bay. That's he's gonna kill me if he hears this. Shit.
We can
I
mute
press mute, right? I press mute.
But that like those videos, I remember watching them like, damn, he's lucky. Like an Arab guy, especially in a room with those guys, it was amazing watching it. So I bet it for you, I mean, since you saw it from the beginning as well, it was surreal.
Yeah, no, I mean, every day you had guys coming in. There was a lot of UFC film crews coming in. You felt like you were in something, you know? And every time you fought, it was a big deal to carry the AKA banner, you know, the flag. You know, you didn't want to be the guy that lost, and it was an awesome time. So super grateful to have, like, it's in my backyard, right? Like, how lucky am I? I grew up there, I lived there, and it's like I happened upon this amazing place.
Speak more on that. Sorry, just 1 second, because now you're the third person. I heard it from Mo, I heard it from Hadi, and now from you. Like the pride and how important it is to take AKA into the cage and represent them. And Now you mentioned, you slightly alluded to,
Yes.
you don't want to go back to the gym as the loser.
You just want to keep, you know, everybody was elevating at the time, and you just wanted to hold that standard. And like, you come back with so much pride and into the gym. It's like, yeah, you know, like let's we're all doing it. Like, let's go. You know, everybody's pushing, and you just want to be a part of that.
A group of winners, basically.
Yeah,
A group
yeah.
of winners. Yeah.
Everybody doing what it really took to be their best. Yeah.
Sorry.
Because I've been at other gyms, and I see people taking rounds off. You get tired. You don't want to do something. You're showing up late. And at AKA, it was like you were getting locked out of the gym if you weren't there at 12, you know? And if you were being soft for any reason, the Josh Thompsons, the Koscheck's, the Rockholds, the DCs, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing on the sideline right now? Like, we don't do this here. Let's go. You know, it's just a major. Yeah, it was awesome.
No messing around.
No messing around, you know. And when I'm out to the gyms, like, if you don't want to do it, I'm not gonna make you do it. I'm not that guy. AKA, I'm voicing my opinion a little more now here and there because I've been around long enough, and I think it's what it takes to really get the group going. But I've seen the gyms that don't have this mentality, and I can see why they haven't reached the success that AKA had. It was a special time for sure.
For us, especially, I was about to say that we were so happy when Hadi had the chance to go to AKA. Like, we even told him again and again, listen, this is amazing. Like, having an Emirati fighter now going there and training and mixing with those guys in a very, very prestigious gym. I mean, this is... Imagine, if I was like a 17, 16-year-old guy that has aspirations to be an MMA fighter, Hadi now is like the blueprint for the Emirati fighters. You watch him, how he started, kind of spontaneous even how he started.
Right.
But now he's an AKA.
Yeah.
He went to Dagestan. He trains with those guys. Javier gives him tips and corners him sometimes. I mean, this is big.
Yeah.
And mind I add, like, that started when he was 30.
Right. We talked about that. Late starter.
It shows a lot, like, because many people might think that they reached an age where they cannot do anything anymore. It's late. It's late. That's it.
Right.
To me, at least, I thought that sports is behind me. Like, what can I say? Every sport needs you to be established in it since you are a child, because it's a team sport. But this is the only sport where you are the only person that can elevate yourself or diminish yourself.
Right. And I will say, like, as much as team environment there was at AKA, your personal success very much depends on your ability to go out and get the skill sets that you need. You know, we train as a team, but that's a very limited time. It's 2 hours a day. So it's kind of very entrepreneurial in that state where it's like, I got to go. I sought out some of the top level guys that were local and started taking privates from them, and started if somebody needed some wrestling, I would trade wrestling for their coach who was a boxer. And you really just gotta, like, you can't just settle on this is what I'm gonna do here. You have to go out and actively seek to get better, whether it's watching videos in your downtime and then trying to apply it, or reaching out to coaches or just people that you can learn from. Your success is just is really dictated upon your ability to kind of go out there and find it.
An AKA, to me, I don't know if I have... I don't see this being emphasized as much as it's supposed to be from my perspective, which is the psychological aspect of fighting. And we're speaking about an academy as big as AKA. Is there any kind of courses, any kind of seminars, like, is there any emphasis or any focus on mental training or psychological training, especially, and I don't speak therapy, I'm speaking about MMA psychology, having the ability to maintain peace in your mind and follow a game plan and not deteriorate on any punch. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if I understand, but let me say this. We've had
I would say psychological
sports psychologists come in and out of AKA. There's a guy, Toby Larson, who I've reached out to and worked with here and there in the past. He's not at AKA all the time now anymore. He lives somewhere else. But and you know what? I actually did one time when I do this all the time. I get hurt and I'm like, okay, I can't train, so what should I do? And I've done various things. I applied to I was doing a master's program in sports psychology for a little bit, right? And then unfortunately I healed back up and I was like, I don't got time for this shit. I'm gonna go fight, you know? So I never finished that. I did about a year of it, and I can't tell you I learned anything, but when I came back, I was like, you know what? Like, I just gotta stop being a little bitch and, you know, do it, right? Sometimes it comes down to like, just gotta bite down and go, you know? And then, yeah, I don't know, but there's access to people. You got to reach out. But you know, Hav does a really good job when he's around of like kind of team meetings afterwards. He really kind of like puts really, you know, you guys got to be. This is what you got to do. This is how you got to be. This is how you got to think. So if anybody does that, I think Hav does it for us.
I've seen some of his post-training speeches that he gives sometimes. Habib and those guys do that too. I've seen, but the mental game, I feel.
And I've been hurt being mentally weak before. When I was an Ultimate Fighter, and then I fought on Dana White's Contender Series, right? And it was kind of, I won. It was close. That fight could easily be a fight that's in the UFC. I fought a guy who was undefeated. It was back and forth. Really, either of us could have won. A lot of people thought he won, and a split decision, so it couldn't win either way. After that, I kind of was like, in my situation, it was a race against time. I'm like 34, 35 at the time, and I'm like, no matter what I do, I'm not gonna get in. They're not gonna take me. And then the Dana White's what's the other one? The looking for a fight. Yeah, that one popped up, and in reality, I wasn't training at the level that I was before because I was like, I was kind of frustrated with it all, not getting in. I saw people getting short notice opportunities where I was like, yo, I'm right here, and I didn't get those calls. So I took that fight where I probably shouldn't have. And it's always a gamble, right? I've taken multiple fights on 5 days notice, and I probably split half. So it can really be a boost to your career, or, you know, you could be a setback. So it's really just how you're training at the time. At the time, I wasn't training that well. I was kind of taking days off. I was just like, man, this sucks, you know. So I just wasn't. When I remember being in the cage and looking across and being like, dang, like this thought popped in my mind, like, this guy, he kind of like, he's ready. He wants it more than me, and I'm not ready. Like, I'm not where I should be in my head to fight right now. And that was like, and on top of that, being a slow starter, and I started slow. I started working my way in the fight, and then I made a technical mistake against the South. Right, initially it was going to be orthodox. You know, I thought I was gonna Damasio Page him. I was gonna go liver kick heavy. The weekend of this, and this is like, I get this call on a Thursday. We get the fight, or Thursday or Friday. The weekend goes from being my height orthodox to lanky southpaw, right? And I'm there on Monday or Tuesday, so I have no time to prepare. It is what it is. On top of that, I'm not trained that well and stuff, and I just, so mentally you have to be ready. And for my particular situation, time was an issue. Right? I should have probably not taken that one, but it is what it is. It's just, life's a gamble, you know?
It is what it is.
Yeah, and like you said, when you're not prepared, that confidence comes from the training.
Yeah, and I wasn't training as much, and I was like, this sucks.
That's the thing. Like, we understand, but if we see the casual fans, let's say, they don't even think about the mental game of fighters. I mean, it's a very huge part of a fighter's life and his career. Like, you could have all the skills in the world, but if your mental is weak, it's gonna show in the cage.
100%. 100%. So,
And I think it all starts with training. Like, how do you react to punches? Even like years in, because as humans, we have tendencies and habits, and that translates into fighting. So when I speak about the psychological aspect, it's not just even being prepared to take a fight or being prepared to be in the cage, but whilst in the cage, like, how are you maintaining that calmness in your mind? Because to me, like, the way I found it to be, it's like constant mantras, always playing along in my head, like whether it's make sure always the foot is always moving. Sometimes as fighters we can be caught flat-footed. So to me it's like, hey, the foot and the hands, not just the hands, the foot and the hands. Always circle, don't get cornered. So it's like a constant reminder. I'm self-coaching.
You got me shadowboxing right now. I'm like,
so yeah, like it's constant. Like these mantras keep on playing in my head, and it keeps on happening with. As I said, I record my sessions. So I understand what mental situation I was in that specific situation. You understand? So when I go and look back to the footage and I understand where I felt weak or I felt stuck, and then I look back to the footage, I'm like, okay, I wasn't moving. I got myself cornered. So now that's where the mantra started. Make sure your feet are always moving with you. So step by step, I keep on building those mantras based on those situations I keep being put in.
Yeah.
So that's the aspect of the psychology that I was actually coming from.
Yeah, it's
because that you cannot be taught that. What people come and tell you, it's like 1, 2. Like you create a game plan, but nobody's gonna come and tell you. Always, you need to remind yourself, because sometimes you can lose that. Sometimes one punch can again change the whole trajectory.
Yeah.
Or like Nate Diaz said, "Oh, you're a wrestler now." You get me? So Conor got tired. He got punched up.
Took a shot.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. It all comes from experience, right? Like the more experience you can have early on. That's why the guys are so good now. They're training at an early age, and they get all that experience.
Oh, and the footage that is out there, man.
I envy them.
People now, like nowadays, you can train from the best of the best at home. The biggest example is during COVID. You have a guy like Max Holloway, where he was doing mitt work on Zoom. Like, he was training with his coach on TV, but back then you guys had to literally go get tapes.
Yeah.
And now you just open up a YouTube video.
Yeah, watch YouTube. I watch a ton of YouTube stuff. Man.
And that's why
so much.
UFC game, like he used to do the same thing Max Holloway does, which
play the game
and you apply moves from the game in the gym.
Oh, I have to try and do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of kicks or like ideas that come from the game, you can apply in the gym. Like there's a lot of things that we can do in this day and age. Like, well, this is the golden age for an MMA fighter, especially the young ones, like starting in.
Not just MMA, by the way. That's why the young generation is brilliant, is because they have a library. They have a lot of people to look at. And some people are theoretical learners, some are practical learners, and some people look-see-do, as John Jones is. And I'm one of those people. If I see something...
Oh, is that what that is?
Oh, yeah.
I've never, made that connection.
So look, see, do.
Oh my God! Look what I learned today.
So
I've never played the UFC game once.
Really?
Ever? Yeah, no. I don't know. Man, I'm not a gamer, but
you're not a PlayStation guy.
But I mean, it's a very new thing. It's like in the last 10 years, and you've been in this game way too long.
Yeah.
You are the game at this point.
With no character.
Don't make him feel that old. Come on.
No, I mean. You know the amount of wealth that you have in your brain having this experience. You come.
Well, it's like it's a balance between having the wealth and then keeping it, because you get every time you get hit, boom, boom, boom. It's like there goes a little bit of wealth. There goes I'm getting a little bit poor here and there, So it's really about like gotta move through the box, keep that head moving,
And one thing they have as well, the youth, this generation, is they saw the errors, the things the mistakes that they can avoid them. And this is a very big part. And when you were starting up, I bet you made a lot of mistakes. Let's say how in approaching, like the way you approach maybe training or fights, even like you said.
Sure, and man, something I always think about too is, I think it's. I grew up born and raised California, San Jose. I had a lifestyle before MMA, right? I worked, I paid rent and stuff like that. So what's the balance between, because I didn't like move back home to just train full time. I kind of kept what I was doing and I trained where I could. So, you know, if I maybe would have stopped and just focused full time on MMA, would things be different? Maybe, you know, well, we'll never know. But yeah, to train full time and have that be your only thing. I know how hard it could be to live like that, but what are the advantages? And the thing is, like, for every person that makes it, think about all those people that didn't make it, right? Yeah. And that's like, you know, it's like see, believe, achieve, do all that stuff, right? But think about all the people that didn't make it. Nobody thinks about that, right? So we say all these words, but like we don't. I mean, there's so many guys that just fell short. So what about those people? You know, like it's just a big risk. You know, you do it or you
definitely, don't. Yeah. And like if you see like the biggest marketing scheme now the UFC has is gambling, and there is a reason for that, because you can see a fight where you have a plus 1,200 favorite get knocked out, as you said. It's a lot of a dice, no matter whose camp it's coming, whose camp you're coming from. Like, for example, like now there's a shift in the main event, tomorrow's main event between Arman and Islam. It was supposed to be, now it's Moicano. Some people, of course, Moicano is going to be...
Yo!
No, but the point is he's going to be a very big underdog.
Right.
But...
You could throw some money on that. You guys bet? Or no?
No, we don't.
I do not.
Haram. Haram.
You know, I bet. Look at this was like okay. This was my for a little bit. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and bet. I think I was like women's MMA, right? This was my take at the time. There's a big discrepancy in skill set sometimes.
Yeah.
And they don't have the power to change the fight like that, like men do. Men could, typically, right? I don't want to upset anybody, but like you have a fighter who's not as good. He throws a big heavy hand, whatever, changes the fight, right? Not necessarily the case in women's. So I was betting women's fighting and stuff, and I was doing okay, but you can't account for the mental mistakes that just people make in general, right? I was going along and I was like, okay, I would scout these girls and I would go, okay, this is a good bet. And I was like, the only way you can lose this fight is if you take this girl to the ground. She only has arm bars off her back, right? She's winning the fight. What does she do? She takes her down. She gets arm barred. I'm like, come on, like, what are we doing here? My money, it's not just you, it's me too. My money's gone, you know? So, I don't bet anymore, but...
Even Dana White said that. He's a huge gambler. He said, sports betting, I don't do that.
It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, because you really cannot control anything.
Yeah.
Like, betting is usually up to chance, but there are better odds. And fighting, no matter what the odds are, they are very... Like, they can just be an illusion.
It takes the enjoyment out of it, too. I'm so anxious, like, please, please.
But some people make bank, though.
Yeah.
Actually, some people, the only way they can watch sports is by betting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That the whole point they watch sport, like, you have a lot of casuals that know nothing. They're like, oh, just got money on that guy, and that's how they enjoy. They sit on a table, have drinks, and it's like, oh, my guy won, your guy won, or whatever. Like, parlays now, like, people are... It's being shoved down our throat. The betting system is being shoved down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
Like,
you really got to have some self-control, you know, or have a bad experience like me, but like not go back to it. I'm not like I don't think I'm addictive like that. Like, oh, this sucks. I don't need it, you know. But I can see how it gets a lot of people in trouble.
Problem is with fighters is because, especially after they stop fighting, it's the addiction of that rush.
Yeah.
You get me? Like you're always chasing. Nothing is gonna replace being.
Yeah,
in the
you're
middle
right.
of the octagon.
No, you're right. Yeah. That's why I'm. You know, I plan on fighting twice next year. I kind of have two opponents that are lined up a little bit. We've had some again, I've talked to them directly, and I'm trying to work these fights out on my own. You get to a certain point, like I can just talk to these people on my own, and we can make it work, you know. So hopefully in May I'm fighting, and then hopefully in September I'm going to fight, depending on how things work out. But like you said, for me, like, this is all being an athlete is all I ever wanted to do. And once it's gone, it's going to be gone. I'm never going to be able to recreate that feeling, you know? So I'm trying to keep it. I thought I was done. And then some 15-pound stuff came up. And I was like, this makes sense for me. My teammate fought him. I think he won, but they gave the guy a decision. So it's like, well.
But do you think you can recreate that feeling kind of if you like really focus on creating fighters? Like, you know what I mean?
I won't know until I get there because I've always pushed that away for the most part because I know that if I'm trying to create fighters, it means I'm not fighting.
Yeah. Full on, you have to be full on.
Yeah, I'm not like I'm my career is over. And letting go is I'm one of those guys like I don't want to. I can still do it, you know. But
does that scare you though? Like, do you? I know you don't want to think about the future, but you need to have a plan, or else you're gonna get stuck in a place you don't want to be stuck. Because the most common saying is you want to leave the sport, and you don't want the sport to be left with you don't want the. What's the actual quote? It's like you want to leave the sport and you don't.
Water? Can I get some?
Yeah, of course.
That's a nice table right there.
It's better.
You ever want to slide somebody a drink?
Yeah, so you want to be done with the sport. You don't want the sport to be done with you.
Yeah. And it's like, if I wasn't in the gym doing it every day and seeing the results that I still have more than a chance, you know? It's not like 50-50, I don't think. I still can dictate.
You keep up with
can dictate, I'm still doing it. So if that wasn't the case, then I would I guess I'd have to walk away. But when I see the results every day, it's like it's hard. It's hard for me to walk away, you know. And there's not much to gain from it other than, you know, fulfilling my soul. Because what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna boost myself to the next level at this point. But gosh, you know what?
It's something you love.
I love it.
It's something you love. You don't have to even explain it.
That's good. Well, to people here, you might have to, you know, but you guys get it, right?
Yeah, in general, I mean, if someone doesn't understand, I mean, you don't have to explain it because it's something that you're passionate about. It's your baby, you know, this is you. So as long as you fulfill something within you, you do what you do.
I mean, I can't say like people at my work love it because I'm pushing, I'm punching, I'm tackling, you know. They just have to deal with me. But when's this guy gonna get over this? Probably never. You know, when I retire, I'm probably gonna be punching people and, you know, just on every day.
Causing chaos.
Yeah.
Captain Chaos.
That's right. A captain. Hey,
This could be even your calling, man.
I got my intro. I got my intro. I just got my intro. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll do you. I got no charge. I'll do you guys part of your intro.
No, I mean this episode. I just got it.
Cut in the intro. And
Okay, yeah. Sick. Did you guys fight when you were younger? Or
In
no?
what sense?
Like fight
Street
each other?
fight?
No, yes, like street fights.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is something I like to when I meet people, especially girls. It's like, you know, when we talk about fighting, I'm like, did you ever been in a fight? Because everybody should be in one fight
At least.
right?
Yeah.
And so then I tell them, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna train you up. And then we'll take you out into, you know, the streets or whatever, and we'll shit talk somebody. But you're gonna have the advantage, right? So then you get in a fight. At least you know what you're capable of, right?
I'm gonna do that with my nephew.
Wait, did you actually do that?
Haven't yet.
Oh,
But
I thought you actually did.
no, I haven't convinced anybody to yet. But this is, you know, I wanna. That's part of it's on my list to convince somebody who hasn't been in a fight to let me give them some pointers and tips. And then to actually...
It's funny you say that because yesterday I saw a video of the boxer Artur Beterbiev, the guy that fought Bivol recently, the Russian, the Chechen guy. He's undefeated, mostly knockouts. He said how he started boxing was his older brother used to box. And he used to ask them, man, take me to the gym. They used to tell him next Monday. And then one day, they took him to the street. They made him fight a guy bare knuckle.
Shit.
No gloves and nothing.
Why use that? What's the Crawford? His
Terence
mom used to line them up in his backyard.
His mom used to like even shit on him. Like
she used to be his biggest bully. Like
Terrence Crawford?
Yeah.
And he had to fight these people?
Yeah, as a kid.
Damn.
She used to go tell them, beat my son up.
Yep.
Because she had a plan for him, or because she was like she didn't like him or something, or she was a bad mom?
Where does he stand with that? Like he doesn't give a very
I think he
clear
just
answer.
accepts it now.
Yeah, he's just kind of. But to me, it's like
It made him, but it made him.
But it could, like again, think about all the people like that. That breaks them, right? So you go one way or the other,
Definitely.
and you only hear about the good stories.
Definitely.
You know, we don't hear a whole lot about the bad stories.
But the thing about your idea, please don't do that. First of all, you're
Okay,
gonna be,
what if we bring out MMA gloves?
the problem is not the gloves. The problem is the platform you're fighting on. You don't want to be fighting on concrete. 'Cause-
No, you're right.
Yeah, that's
This is something when I think about. I don't know if you guys
Do it at the beach.
I don't know if you guys do this, but when I'm out and about, right, and I'm very much like, all right, I see this guy. I could probably take this guy. You know, my only
Man, listen,
the only way he can get me is if he gets me in the air, because there's concrete, right? So I have to stay grounded, even if I have to freaking pull guard, you know. But it's like nowadays you never know. There's so much training out there. The guys look like dorks and they're killers. So that's another thing. It's like, God, I don't know, is it worth it? Probably
This is
not.
one of the things that fight. I mean, we're all crazy. And this every time I'm in an elevator, I swear to God, every time, and there's like 5 guys say 1, 2, 3, they can't. Like if all of them at the same time, because I know most of them they're not trained, and I was the guy that didn't train as well for a long time in my life. Like I did taekwondo, but there's a huge gap.
the icy red person.
Yeah, I was icy.
If you only had taekwondo in the elevator, that might suck.
Yeah, I know,
Right?
yeah.
But if you have some clinching ability and maybe some
Exactly.
jiu-jitsu, you're in an elevator.
No.
Now we're talking. Like,
Yeah.
because you're in a confined space. So have you seen the boxing in a telephone booth?
Oh yeah.
Maybe we start the elevator.
Wallah, that's good.
But the things that are coming out of Russia, I just sent you one today.
I saw it. Yeah.
It's a old guy fighting a model, and at some point the old guy was shelling up, and they threw a chicken in.
Old guy.
Yeah, an old guy.
I saw a big fat guy fighting
that's
two
girls. That
two
also.
girls.
Yeah. That also, but again, now they have karjutsu, they have phone booth
Yes.
boxing, they have a lot of.
Me and Hadi are primed to fight somebody big. I don't know. Like who was it the other day? They said Hadi take this guy on or something like that. And I was like, I don't know, but me and Hadi might make sense, right? 2 small guys versus 1 big guy. I don't know.
Why not? Make a Royal Rumble out of it.
Yeah, but not as an official sport. I mean, the guys now have press conference fights. Have you seen those crazy videos?
Yeah. So is that built into it?
I don't know.
It has to be on some level, right? Because why? Because they don't jump in. They don't.
No,
they're
they
like,
want that to happen.
Yeah.
They want it to happen.
They want the like it's creating viral moments.
but some guys are getting knocked out.
Yeah.
And then you lose your fight, right?
I think that's the fight. To me, like
That's how they generate money, I think.
What about this power slap? I think this is like.
I'm not fast.
Anybody who fights, I think, understands that this is.
I mean, Yusuf,
It's a spectacle. Anybody who doesn't fight might think it's like, all right, I'll watch this, but I cannot. I
never
watch it.
I never watch. I
cannot
only
watch
see clips
it.
and I switch off.
No, actually, I watched season 1 and I kind of watched season 2. Like I even know who won season.
You
1.
watched it.
Yeah,
You
like,
liked
but,
it?
but I was skipping
like it?
through it. No,
A small part of you likes it. That's why you watch 2 seasons.
I like the knockouts.
Oh my god, I can't watch them.
No,
like,
but-
why wouldn't you? Block, you know, like if you could line me up there.
Would you do that? In the real life?
No. We could go. I let this girl smack me one time, but one time I said, "Go ahead, line it up," and I was like, "That was a terrible idea." My head kind of rang, and I had a little headache after. But like, if we could do the contract. I don't know if you win or what the deal is, but you get there. I would honestly.
Yeah.
You know,
But then you get slapped again for flinching.
I'm gonna walk away. You can have my money.
But seriously,
I'm not doing
seriously,
this.
if I'm in a street situation, I would never do that. Give me.
Oh yeah, no.
No, I'm gonna sneak you first if it's really like if it's an issue, so why do it in competitions?
The thing is, there is a market. There was an underground market in the slap fighting, and they have a big audience. When Dana White came out and said there are millions and millions of views, he's not wrong. Because those clips go viral. You see a guy getting knocked out from a slap. He leans on the table in front of him and then falls back. That's sexy to look at.
Okay, the same people that are making this go viral are the same people that don't want to watch 125-pound fighters. They're the same people. I guarantee you.
Bro, humans are freaking ruthless.
Yeah.
I mean, it just changed with time, and not really. You and I know the dark secrets of life. It never changed. There are channels where people are still doing those barbaric, if not even worse. But anyways, we're gonna speak about mainstream. I mean, the UFC is basically a glorified. It's a milder form of the gladiators back then.
Yes.
People want to see blood. You see this the promo video of the UFC. The guy just bleed guy. Like, those are humans. They love violence.
I love that.
Of course,
the violence, the blood in MMA, I enjoy it.
Fam, you remember, like we were speaking about being there for the 3 UFC events: Conor, Calvin Kattar versus Max Holloway, Conor versus Dustin 2, and Neil Magny versus Chiesa.
Yeah.
One of the best fights we ever watched live was Calvin Kattar versus Max Holloway. When he's like, I'm the best boxer in the UFC.
Oh, yeah. When he was like,
God damn. Like, you know, that fight.
Not anymore.
I swear.
You know who the best boxer in the UFC is now? Taporia.
The point is, that fight was...
You almost cried, by the way.
That fight was so brutal to the point you can hear a pin drop. Like, we were 2K in the stadium, and it was dead silent, and you can hear every punch from Max Holloway.
Elbows, the punches.
And you can hear him scream.
Because why?
Because it was brutal. It was a masterpiece.
No, and the crowd, everybody was quiet.
Everyone was tuned in, looking at Max Holloway piece him up.
It's a different thing when you can hear like the
thud,
the leather hitting the face. Oh my
god!
God.
The elbows.
Oh yeah.
Like for me, it was orgasmic.
Oh my God!
That fight lives in my head, rent free.
Forever. Like I saw that live.
Is that your favorite fight?
No.
What's your favorite fight?
Wait, watching it live or on TV?
Or TV.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Oh,
live, yes.
Yeah, because live, that's my favorite fight, watching live. But on TV, it has to be Robbie Lawler versus McDonald too.
Yeah, that was good.
That's my favorite. That's what really got me to become a hardcore MMA fan. Seeing them standing at the end of the 4th round with Robbie, his lip split open and spitting on the ground.
Oh, you like all that stuff, huh? you should have been born in a different time. You should be a gladiator or a spectator.
I always say that to my family.
That's what I tell hey, I should have been born.
Especially
at
my size,
time.
I would have been a warlord. I'm a warlord.
Yeah,
you would have been a slave master.
I would have been. I would have been bringing you grapes. You know,
you would have been an assassin, man.
Maybe.
You know, because small, you can hide, you can jump on roofs and kill them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you would be our secret weapon. Nice. We send you to cut heads off.
Oh my God.
No, but especially like when you said, did you guys fight? And this podcasting, this is like foreign to people that know me. Like, okay, this is something new. But when we started doing MMA, no, you belong there. Like this was. It makes sense that I chose MMA and fighting. Because when I was young, I don't want to talk about it a lot, but I was a bully. I used to fight a lot, man. And my friends used to use my size in their favor. Like I was the guy in the group that, okay, we have this guy with us.
Yeah, me and you probably would have crossed paths, and you might have put the hurt on me because I was kind of like
a small
bully. You know, I didn't have. I was like how do you say? We're the opposite. Short man syndrome. How do you say? Small man syndrome. You know.
You guys are the ones that always start this stuff because you have built up anger.
Yes,
I know that. I know.
Still to this day, when I see tall people, I'm like, I'm so I'm
obsolete.
What? If I had your height, I'd be in the NFL right now. I'd be a millionaire. I'd be balling out of control. But I was born like this, short.
You want me to piss you off even more? I wish I was taller. I wish I was 6'5", 6'6".
But there's nothing wrong. I mean, you should want that, you know.
Tall people die young.
That's the rub.
They die fast. Like it's been a thing. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, man, but I hope
You'll cry, يعني.
Of course I will. But no, bismillah عليك, that's not what I meant. But I'm saying you don't want to be told.
We'll have a good podcast about
My
you.
mother watches this, by the way. Okay. Thank you.
I didn't mean it in that way. I'm saying don't wish to be taller because things take time traveling between the books.
Those very tall guys, they die.
Yeah. They don't last. Like
You're probably how tall are you?
I'm 189.
I don't know this.
6'3".
6'3", okay.
You rounded up to 6'3".
Okay.
Which is a normal height.
I round up mine. I'm 5'5". Yeah.
But what? 5'1"?
No. Come on. Have a little respect. 5'4" and a half. Depends on the shoes.
It wasn't very convincing.
No, you saw the new shoes they got out now? The ones that add to you, like, how many inches?
Depends.
I always see them on Instagram.
You get the choice now.
I might buy them just to see.
Fam.
Wallah,
Is it
much.
It's the pad on the shoe?
The sole. The
sole,
the sole of the shoe.
I can't do those because, like, at some point, they're gonna find out that I'm not. I guess. I mean, I don't know. If I can do it long enough towards maybe they like my personality enough or whatever, and then it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. But like,
now I know what.
If they don't like my personality,
I'll get you a gift. You and Hadi, especially Hadi as well. Yeah.
Can you make mine just a half inch taller than Hadi's? Being the shortest guy in the room is, not fun.
I understand. I had one of my cousins.
No, he said, I understand.
No, I understand why.
When you were 2?
No, I was always the tallest guy.
Yeah, he was always. Bro, I'm not exaggerating. When we were, because like it took me time to gain my, like, to me, like, things happened. In one summer, like, I would gain like woof, and then I would stay stuck there. And then another summer, like woof. That was one
must
point.
Be nice. One summer I went, woof, and that was the only summer.
But there was one point where I used to reach Yusuf's ass. Like that's my maximum capacity. And he was like amongst, and I'm older than him, but he looked like a cow amongst sheeps. You understand what I mean? The big person just moving.
Could have said
around.
Camel, giraffe, cow.
No, he was a cow at that point. Because that's because I was thinking of how you looked back then. So the only thing that I can think of is a cow.
Okay, imagine him chubby and had curly hair. By the way,
I had an afro. Yeah, it was amazing.
I'm looking at it right now. Oh
you saw Superbad?
Yes.
Jonah Hill, how he looked?
Yes.
Was he Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill.
He was Jonah Hill, but with this skin.
And Jonah Hill got skinny.
Oh yeah, bro, he keeps on fluctuating. I think that guy is
Ozempic, right?
No, that was before Ozempic.
Then that was hard work.
That's money, my guys. No. That's movies. That's roles.
Well, if you have a nice chef, right? If you can live with the chef, then you're eating good food.
No. They don't do it the healthy way. You think they do it the healthy way? I mean, do you know Christian Bale? You know who Christian Bale is. Have you seen what he did to
almost
prepare?
died.
What's the movie? Anyways, there was a movie where
when he got skinny?
He didn't get skinny. He got anorexic. Is it anorexic or dyslexic?
I don't know.
No, dyslexic is the reading.
No, then the other one. The one I said first.
One of these
anorexic.
Anorexic. Okay. So he was eating an apple a day only for a while. He got to, like, because he just finished the Batman movie and he went from this buff guy to this near door, the death door guy.
What about when they give you like 60, 70, 80 $million?
I'll do whatever. You want me to eat? I won't eat. I won't do shit.
You guys are doing it for
nothing. I'm doing it to lose money.
So you're telling me I'm happy with 100K.
I've delved into fasting a little bit here and there. You know, it's a good challenge. Like when I leave here, I'll have to 3 days of fasting because I'm gonna be so fat. But it's tough.
What type of fasting?
Just like water.
Water fast.
Fat 3 days, no fasting. Fasting, you lose like 10 pounds if you train through it. You know.
I told him, man, we should make him eat the camel hump, the fat.
Have you seen anything like that?
The fat of the camel hump?
Yeah.
Like you saw the videos that he means, and when they dive in it, like you saw Volk did it recently.
No, I haven't seen it.
And if you like fat,
But to me, that's repulsive, to be honest.
sure,
Is it tasty?
I
You like
amazing.
flavor it up or no?
Amazing.
Of course they do.
Amazing.
Like you had the meat the other day, so it's similar. They're the same seasoning, but the thing is, they can cut the hump and the fat layer. I'm just speaking about the thickness. It's almost like this thick.
Ooh, yeah.
Is it just like
pure
regular fat, like a beef fat, or is it more like a chewy, or is it like
It's not chewy, you know.
It's not chewy. It dissolves.
It's like
in your
butter,
mouth.
basically.
like butter.
People can cook
yeah.
with it, actually.
You know what I do when I barbecue? When we were cutting up the meat, like goat meat, even not camel meat, but I always buy from the butcher camel hump fat cut up in squares. So what I do is when I make the skewer, I put a piece of meat, then piece of fat, piece of meat, piece of fat.
Okay.
So when I grill it,
No veggies.
no, zero veggies. When I grill, the fat starts to drip on the meat and makes it juicy.
But you see, that is sexy. What to me is repulsive is
Is
this.
the-
Yeah, like
okay,
when they cut it, because what they do is they put imagine a camel here in front of you. It's starts here, it ends there, and it has this huge hump, and that hump is just basically
Fat.
a big lump of fat. And they cut it, and they just keep on scratching it and distribute it. I'm like, what are you doing with food, man? It looks disgusting.
Is there any nutritional benefit to fat?
That
Yes.
type of fat, yeah, but the way they do it, it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
just for taste?
What we always say is everything is good, and as long as you don't overdo it.
yeah. Anything excessive.
Everything
is
is
bad.
in moderation is okay.
But it's better than any type of processed fat, canola
100%.
oil or processed butter, whatever it is. Like, I would rather cook with meat fat. Meat fat is good for you.
Sure.
Yeah. I think you guys in America, you guys don't give a shit about these things.
I don't know what we do. I just eat whatever. My mom is an amazing cook, and between my mom who cooks and gives me leftovers, and then I work at a restaurant, I just kind of
Here and there.
I just
I think you would find that more on the countryside, like depending on the state. But the countryside, they are much more in tune with that. Like they would make their own, they would churn their own butter.
That's all good stuff. That's all good. What's it called? When the world's gonna end.
Post-apocalypse plan.
Apocalypse. You need that for the apocalypse, right? You have to know all that stuff. So
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that's one of my biggest worries. Like, me and Yusuf sit a lot and discuss. I'm like, Yusuf, do we really need to? Like, okay, we actually have a plan, Yusuf and I,
okay.
for an apocalypse. But my thing is, we need an escape route. We need supplies and lots of canned supplies that can last for a really long time.
Weapons.
A good water supply, natural water source,
Swords.
weapons.
Yeah.
Weapons, man.
I have a collection of knives, man.
But knives are not gonna matter when people are going crazy at that time.
But you guys can't have guns.
No, we cannot have guns.
I'm gonna come take all your supplies. Yeah.
We don't blame you. But we have like the guns that we shoot birds with.
Yeah.
I have that.
What is that?
I will hurt you.
I mean, I have very good aim.
Pellet? Is it a pellet?
It's like an airsoft.
It's like a pellet. But if I shoot you in your face, he's not gonna.
Yeah, you're right.
like
If you hit me in my eye, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in your stomach area.
But I mean, it's gonna suck enough for you to do this.
Oh yeah, if
You
you had
get-
a gun, yeah. But
Yeah.
if I had a knife, if you had a sword.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because now
Definitely.
you have full automatic pellets, like full auto. Oh yeah, you
Okay.
can spray them up now, and it's legal.
My dad's I don't want to say he's not a big apocalyptic guy, but he's a big preparedness guy. So he's blessed me with some supplies and weapons and stuff like that. So I have what I can fit in a small apartment. So I'll be good until I can accrue somebody else's supplies.
The problem is in the
And that-
US, you have to. Because, I mean, first of all, the thing is, the US is currently divided, unfortunately.
Yes.
And it's the game they are playing. The government is kind of playing a bullshit game where they're dividing the people based on the wrong merits. In some cases, it's like, are you pro-abortion or you're not pro-abortion?
Yeah.
Are you really deciding the future of the country based on abortion and just creating animosity amongst the people? But the point is, it's really multiple countries within one country. So you can never feel safe. You always need a plan B, regardless of natural disasters. But now you're in California. things. I mean,
Oh,
look
yeah.
what happened during
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah.
You get me? Like, and now the wildfires and things can change
Uh-huh.
just like that
Uh-huh.
in the US. So it's better prepared than being sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
Which
wouldn't
is why a
blame
lot
your
of people
father.
run away to Texas.
Yes. More. It's like I don't mean. America was created based on stuff that happened a long time ago, and we carried it into this. And you know, it's a. I don't even know where to go with it. Honestly, like I know what side I'm on, but when I come here, I'm like, damn, you guys got a free house, and you guys got all this stuff, and this is a good little place right here. Like, why? I don't know. We can't get to that point. We're already set in our ways, you know.
You know, I heard Joe Rogan yesterday saying on the podcast with Theo Vaughn, and he's like, in reality, let's be honest, we are the world's last hope. And I'm like, yo, are you really looking at your country at the moment? Like, because their opinion of, okay, like look at what's happening in Palestine, but Palestine is not the whole world. Look at what's happening in Syria. He mentioned Ukraine and Russia. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, but that's not the whole world. Look at what's happening in your country. Look at the states. Look at how they're being run. Like, you have people constantly fighting in the streets. You have people using the wrong toilets because they identify as something. You have many issues.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. Don't throw stones when your house is made of glass. Like,
Exactly.
you're not the world's last hope. You have a lot of work to do.
Who is the world's last hope?
There is no world's last hope. There is only one end, and the people will die eventually. Everyone's gonna die.
This is like something that I think about, right? And it allows me to be more free, right? Everybody's this world's not gonna exist at some point,
yeah.
you know?
There is an end. There will be
Yeah.
There will be no more generation or no more.
Yeah.
It's coming. When
Yeah.
we don't know,
Yeah.
but it's coming.
So yeah, it's like we know the history and we carry that for a little while.
Exactly.
But eventually
Just like
nobody's gonna know your history.
Yep.
So do what it's hard for me to say do what makes you happy, because we're like, do what fulfills you, but be respectful, you know. We're all trying to do something together, right?
Actually, do what makes you happy, as long as what makes you happy does not hurt or intervene with other people.
Okay.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Like
you,
that.
you wanna like, and in the same podcast, he said one point that I actually agree with him, and he's like, yeah, do what makes you happy, but as long as you're not interfering with anyone. So if you come in
100%.
as Adam, tell me I am a cat. Okay, sure. Meow. Sure. Yeah. As long as you don't want to shit in my litter box. You get me?
Yes.
Don't force me into.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
tell me I'm a female and I want to use the female toilet. I'm gonna kill you. Like,
Yes.
my
My
daughter
daughter
is
used
gonna.
that, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
We're on the same team, just so you guys know. Don't worry.
Oh no, we got that. We understood before the podcast started.
What made you understand that?
I'm not gonna say. So yeah, but you guys suffer a lot from that in California, right? Have you experienced anything like that? Because to me, I think if that happens in front of me, I don't think I'm gonna have the patience.
You know, I haven't had to deal with it. Strangely, I'm fortunate to, you know, most of my time is spent at the gym, and I think I think you'll see. Okay, take for instance Mark Zuckerberg, right? And part of it is we'll never know anybody's intentions. We'll never know what's going on behind the scenes, right? Specifically, but what I assume and what I imagine is once he started training, you understand what it takes. Like it's like the harder I work, the accountability it takes, right? To I don't know, to experience. You're only gonna get what you put in, right? Nobody's giving you anything in this sport, right? That extends out to his life, and now he's a little bit more, you know. And I can't say there's not parts of it that just aren't related to business, but I think that I want to feel like he gets it more, right?
No, you can see the change.
Yeah,
And
right.
him especially, I
feel
see
like,
that too. I see
right?
that too. Especially when he started doing jiu-jitsu and training MMA. I mean, because if you think about it, he became a billionaire when he was
20
something.
No, so
Yeah.
21,
So he was like a nerd,
Right.
and all of his, and
and impressionable, right? So it depends on who's moving you which way or the other and stuff.
I think that made him feel alive.
Bro, they had to change after they started spreading the rumor that he's a robot when he was being questioned. Because the way he looked, he actually looked like an alien that was trying to act like a human.
You didn't see that? What do you call it? The congressional something, the hearing?
I actually know, I know the people, or I'm familiar with the people that he rolled with in California, like trained with in California. It's like, man, if I can get over there and just sub Zuck one time, that would be amazing.
But it's nice. It's nice, especially because I'm a real fan of MMA. When I see guys like him enjoying the sport, and if you guys saw the latest news that Dana White joined Meta's board.
Yes,
this is how he looks like. Look at this picture.
Oh, we have this. I didn't know we had access to this.
Oh yeah, we do.
You guys are your own. You know how Joe has somebody.
Producer.
Okay.
We do. He's the young Jamie.
Young Jamie.
So this is how he looked like.
Real or robot? Yeah.
I mean, look at it.
He looks robotic.
And let me show you how he looks now.
Oh, now he's got.
This is like 3 years ago.
And curly hair or something like that.
And this is. There you go.
Yeah. No,
not even the same person.
I think there's one where he has some facial hair somewhere.
Oh yeah. He went through just maybe a month of hot guy face. This is not.
I tried to grow some. You guys are lucky. Mine is under the chin. And it's like right here.
You can't.
No, I cannot. I can't connect this.
This is the picture you're referring to.
There it is. Yeah, that's the one. That's a man right there. You know, he gets it.
You know, I do laser, by the way, here. If I didn't do laser, on this side only.
Laser to
not allow hair to grow out.
Oh, okay.
Here, this area. I'm a gorilla. Like my beard will connect with my head, with my hair on my head.
Yeah.
That's how hairy I am.
We've all done things at this point. I have had surgery to fix scar tissue and stuff. Lift this up to match this, and I thought I was done. I was like, okay, this is gonna be it. Now I'm getting punched again. I'm starting to get, mess it up a little bit.
But man, I cannot imagine you with beard. Like there are certain looks. I mean, to me, I think everyone is meant to look the way they look, whatever ability they have. So I think you would look very wrong with a beard. You would look because it suits you. Like the skin suits you. Yeah. But if I shave my beard, I'm gonna look like a.
How long have you had your beard for?
Come again.
How long have you had the beard for?
So this 2 years maybe. 1 year.
That's it.
1.5. No, I've been trimming it on and off, but now I'm stuck with this. Like I've been going with this.
That's a good look.
For a while.
It's a good look. I wish I could do it.
You don't need it, man.
I mean, there are solutions these days. We go and needle you to hell.
They can do anything now.
And have a swollen face for 3 months.
They can do anything now. There are face implants.
Is this? I was asking Hadi this. Is this become a hub at all for people to come over and do surgery and stuff like that, or not really?
Dubai?
Yeah, I know Thailand's like a very
for females, but most of them actually they go to Turkey, I think, because it's cheaper there.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Why would anyone?
Only the rich.
I just wasn't sure.
Unless you have a lot of money. Unless you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Then that's a different story.
I'm hoping to have a lot of money one day.
Inshallah, all of us.
Hopefully. I know you guys have a lot of work. You and Hadi, you gotta go now. Put in some work. I swear, I wish we can keep going. We're having fun. We appreciate your time.
Yes,
we appreciate you coming, joining, opening up, and just being loose. Thank you for sharing all the information you've shared. Thank you for sharing the stories. Thank you for engaging and having a wonderful conversation with us. Anything else you want to speak about, highlight, shout out?
Thank you guys. This has been a great experience. I wish you guys the best. I'm happy to come and train and, have a good time. And if you guys need a podcast intro, I'm happy to do it. No.
Okay. Actually, let me give you one. So do the entry for this the intro for this episode.
Tell me the words.
First of all, before you do that, I'm just gonna let you know that you have a home with us whenever you're here in this region.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And
I feel at home.
Thank you, man. The podcast name is The Holo Talk. So
wait, say again.
The Holo Talk. And my name is Ahmed. His name is Yusuf. So
Holo Talk.
Holo Hollow.
Hollow, as in empty.
As an empty.
Hollow.
Yeah.
Okay, hollow talk.
Hollow.
Empty.
Actually, the word does not. It comes from the owl's home.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not doesn't mean empty, but hollow as an empty. So
Wait, tell me how to say your name again.
Ahmed.
Ahmed. Ahmed.
Yeah, sure.
Ahmed.
Yusuf.
Yusuf.
Yeah. The Hollow Talk.
The hollow talk. So make it work. I will give you some time.
And now introducing the Hollow Talk with Yusuf and Ahmed.
Woo! Let's go, man. Thank you.